Okay, so today we are going to learn about um, booting. It's one of the essential aspects of learning computer. We are just going to talk about, I think from here onwards, it's going to be more of practical than theory. So most of the things we wouldn't be able to like practicalize it. So these are just some of our objectives for this lesson. To know what booting a computer is, creating a folder. Just as I said, it's practical. So identify some few Microsoft Office suite applications and their basic uses. All right, so when you hear of the term booting, this apparently is not what we're talking about. We are not talking about you kicking the computer with your foot. No. So basically, what then is booting? I wish I could see you all so you could tell me what you know about booting. Well, so I guess I'll have to go straight to tell you that booting is a startup sequence that starts the operating system of a computer when it is turned on. Simply put, booting is the process of just putting on the computer by pressing the power button. That is all what you need to know, not the main details or what goes on the computer. So simply booting is just turning on the computer by pressing the power button. Okay, so we have some types of booting. We have um, the cold booting, and we're going to know what cold booting is. Cold booting is the booting process that occurs when the computer turns on for the first time. So the very first time you turn on the computer, not when you bought the computer, but let's say you came to campus or came to the office and the computer is totally on off, and you turn on the plug and you press the power button. You are booting it for the first time at that very moment. And that is what is termed as cold booting. And here again, I'm not going to go into details about everything that goes on inside the machine, why we call it cold booting. But what you need to know that cold booting is just booting the computer for the first time. Okay, so we have warm booting. If cold booting is turning on the computer for the first time, what then would warm booting be? Okay, let's take a look. So warm booting is the act of restarting the computer using the restart button or a combination of Alt plus F4 keys. So cold booting, we say, is booting a computer for the first time. Warm booting, we are saying using restarting the computer. So in other words, the computer is already on and you are turning it off for it to come back on. That is to restart the computer. It's just like you're having your phone and it froze. Maybe you are doing something on it and it froze and there is nothing responding on it. You probably have to forcefully restart the phone by pressing the power button for some seconds. It's the same here. But what then will cause one to warm boot the computer? Let's just keep that in mind. We'll get back to it. So when we use the key combination Alt plus F4, we'd have series of options that would help. That's going to help us to actually restart the computer. I wish I could try it out now, but my screen capturing software might just go off. So I'm not going to try it now. We would have tried it if we were on campus. But all the same, let's proceed. How to boot a computer? Okay, so first of all, these are the sequences at which we go through. You'll have to make sure you plug the computer, plug in the wall socket. Make sure it is firmly plugged in and it's turned on. All right, then you press the on or off button on the system unit. I believe by now you should know what a system unit is because we've already spoken about that. Okay, so now this is a picture of how a system unit looks like. It varies from sizes, looks, and design. So this is how it looks like. So you press the power button when you are turning on the computer, or let's say when you're doing your cold booting. All right, so you press the on or off power button on the monitor as well. So you just don't only turn on the system units, you also have to turn on the monitor. And this is an example of a monitor. And I'm not going to give you the name of this particular monitor, but I'm expecting to get the name. I believe you should know the name by now. So I would be expecting the name of this kind of monitor in our WhatsApp page. So you turn on the power button of the monitor as well. And then here's where we should have been practicalizing them. So we are skipping it and just moving on. Okay, so after the computer have gone through all the process that it has to go through, this is what you see. You would be seeing your desktop, the wallpaper, and the things that appears. So we have our wallpaper, which is the flower that you see there. We have our icons on the desktop. We have our task bar, which all these ones I will be explaining into details later on. This is just a picture of how the desktop looks like. All these things together makes it a desktop. The wallpaper and the icons and everything that we see there. We just collaboratively call them a desktop, right? But I'll talk into details explaining the purpose of everything on the desktop for you to see. So finally, the screen of the computer appears showing the desktop. So I believe we can proceed. I've already spoken about that. So we are done with this, just a little intro about what the desktop is. And now I want to know what a folder is. Well, to make it more simpler or more easier for you to understand, I believe most of you ladies do use purse, and just as the guys also do use wallets, and ladies have bags. So a folder simply plays the same role as your wallet, your purse, your bag, where you can easily put things in. You put your money in, you put your books in. So a folder plays the same role. It's also called a directory, right? So all these examples that I'm giving should tell you what a folder is on a computer. Okay, so creating a folder on desktop, it's one of the easiest thing to do. One of the easiest thing to do. First of all, you have to right click any empty space on the desktop. Remember the word empty space. When you are creating a folder, you right click on an empty space on the desktop. We are creating a folder on our desktop specifically. So you look for a place which is empty, and then you would right click there. And let's see what we'll do next. We'll select new, because after right clicking there will be a drop down menu that would come up. And then we'll slide our mouse or our cursor down to where it says select new. From there, we'll choose the folder. So I'm going over again. you right click on empty space on a desktop, there will be a drop down menu. Then you slide your cursor to where it says select new, and then you then choose folder on the pop-up menu that would show up. This is more practical, but it's easy to understand. We would practicalize them. So after you've done that, you have the option to rename your folder. The default name that you would see after clicking on the folder is new folder, and it to be highlighted in blue. So you can rename it to any name. You can use your name, or depending on what you are using the folder for, you can just rename it. By default, the computer has some folders already created, like documents, like pictures, videos. These are just to help categorize the things that you do. And that is one of the essence of having a folder, is to help categorize your things and make locating of files easier. Okay, so the alternative way of creating a folder without using the mouse is to use a combination of the Control key, the Shift key, and the N key. So here again, where you want the folder to be, you have to just activate that section. If you want it to be on the desktop, you click on the desktop, and then you use this keyboard combination, the Control key, Shift key, and N. You press them all together, and then the folder will just appear up the same way that you did when you right-clicked on the empty space. You then rename the folder to what you want. It's all based on your preference, and then your folder will be created. So here again, if you have access to a computer or a laptop, you are free to try it out on your own and give me the feedback. Okay, so we just want to identify some few Microsoft suites. Okay, now we have MS Word. The MS simply means Microsoft Word. All right, and then we have a Microsoft PowerPoint, and also we have a Microsoft Excel. These three are mainly the basic things that we'll be using a lot of times. Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel. We'll be using these ones a lot. And we also have Microsoft Access. This, you barely touch it, but you just need to know what it does. Any question at the moment? Oh, okay, you can give me feedback here. All right, let me just go back and just give you a little bit information about this. The MS Word is basically using typing documents, write letters, official documents, or anything. You can use the MS Word in doing that. Your FCCs, your project work, you'll be using the Microsoft Word application to do that. With the MS PowerPoint, that is what I'm using to do this presentation. It's mainly for presentations. And Excel also, it works with the account sections. You can do calculations with it. You can also use it in creating databases as well. And we have Microsoft Access. Its main purpose is more or less like a database. It's used to create a database. Yeah, so these are just the basic functionalities of these Microsoft Suite applications. Okay, so this is a very short video. If you have any questions, feel free to bring it up in our WhatsApp platform. Thank you and have a wonderful time.